are going to have as our top stories tonight. President Museveni insists on prevention as World Marks AIDS Day. We'll also be going to Gombe, where Gombe district wants Philly Lutaaya home converted into a tourist site. I'll also be looking at how the UPDF has captured a top ADF commander's wife. And in sports, international boxing president Kremlev is here for a working visit in Uganda. So those are some of the top stories that we shall be looking on. On sign language, it is Mogalu Mohammed, and I am Hurukidi Edward Kijanangoma, and we are coming to you live online and on air from Broadcast House here on Nile Avenue. We begin in Kalangala, where Kalangala district fishing community has decried the expensive inter-island transport system, which affects the work of people and organizations involved in the fight against HIV/AIDS. Now, this is one of the issues highlighted by the islanders as the Ugandans joined the rest of the world to mark the International AIDS Day. Take a watch.
Unlike their counterparts on the mainland, residents of Kalangala district, especially the fishing communities, still face a challenge of expensive inter-island transport costs, which affect the treatment and the fight against HIV/AIDS.
Abasomo bagobaite HIV Kalangala district akyali w'amaanyi bulungi nnyo era akyajja olw'ensonga ate kati agenda kweyongerako olw'ensonga ku bantu abayingira mu bizinga naddala bakyala abayingira ne basanga abaana abakulidde mu bizinga.
Naye kuva amagye gajja 2017 wano twayongera kubeera bubi nnyo n'endwadde ne zeeyongera era akawuka ka Mukenya kalinyira ku speed okusinzira ku mbeera ngeri gyeri kati tubeera ku kyalo kuno covid yajja tubeera wamu n'abaana tebatukkiriza nagenda akola.
In many reports published by Uganda AIDS Commission, Kalangala is cited as one of the areas with the high HIV prevalence rate in the central region, which attracted the attention of various stakeholders like Sese Islands African HIV Project, Kalangala District Forum of People Living with HIV/AIDS, Rakai Health Sciences Program, and government. Joan Nakajubi, a registered midwife with Kalangala Health Center 4, cites the migratory nature of the people in the islands as one of the challenges which affect the treatment follow-up of the people living with HIV.
We are facing a big challenge initially, even up to now. The major challenge that we are still facing with our mothers is that we have the migratory nature of the population. Our mothers migrate a lot. This is due to the changes in climate as well as the nature of fishing. We have problems with tracking those mothers and their babies because of that nature of transportation.
Like the fishermen, she also talks about poverty and redundancy as another challenge.
Mothers and their husbands, their socio-economic status is now low because they are not earning enough. So they have challenges with accessing the health facility as well as accessing the basic needs that will help them survive as HIV-positive mothers and their babies.
Jackson Baguma, the district director for production, says they have advised the health department to come up with HIV sensitization messages.
So we have given them those kind of elementary kind of knowledge on HIV, and we do it on a quarterly basis. We train them, we give them refresher courses. Of course, we invite the health workers to come and brief us and take us through.
This report was compiled by Collins Juko for UBC News.
Now, the Nabagereka of Uganda has appealed for more sensitization of the youth about HIV/AIDS so as to curb the prevalence of AIDS in the country. Sylvia Najinda Luswata was speaking at the annual general meeting of Program for Accessible Health, Communication and Education in Kampala.
Commemorates the World AIDS Day this Thursday, 1st of December. Program for Accessible Health, Communication and Education, PACE, has held its general annual meeting to reflect on its achievements in extending healthy services to Ugandans.
And mainly the population that PACE is focusing on, where there seems to be a continuously slightly high prevalence, are the young people. And we have a program for adolescent girls and young women where we have interventions that are in line with our strategic directions.
This was at a meeting officiated by the Nabagereko of Buganda, Sylvia Najinda, who commended PACE's services, more especially those extended to younger girls.
This year has coincided with the World AIDS Day, which is very appropriate for us because one of the things that PACE is puts a lot of emphasis on is the prevention and treatment of HIV, because we still have many cases, especially among the youth in our midst. So we still have a lot of emphasis on that in the different parts of the country.
Nabagereka, however, called upon sensitization of the young generation about HIV/AIDS so as to curb on the prevalence of the virus.
Paying attention to people who have been affected and hence vocational training programs to help those young girls who in many cases have been abused and they've contracted the disease, or they've been left helpless and uneducated. So such helped through our programs for the girls who have been affected. And in addition to that, of course, PACE deals with the prevention of malaria and treatment.
Not only does PACE focus on the fight against HIV/AIDS, but also other healthy programs.
Through this empowerment, the mentor mothers, the peer networks, they've been able to get out of the risk ventures, and those who are HIV positive have been able to be supported to be on treatment and take the treatment continuously and adhere to treatment in order to end the HIV epidemic. So maternal health programs have been integrated, reproductive health programs into the HIV agenda, as well as TB.
The beneficiaries of PACE called upon young girls not to indulge in immoral vices, rather to focus on their future.
Even though life is hard, don't force yourself into doing something which you know that it is dangerous.
Nali bubi nnyo. Naye kati PACE yannyamba. Kati ndi bulungi nsobola okwekolera, nsobola okusomesa omwana wange.
After the meeting, Her Royal Highness Nabagereka Sylvia Najinda and PACE staff lit a candle for all the departed souls who succumbed to HIV/AIDS. Rebecca Natongo, UBC News.
Let's go to our main story now, and that is we got to Rukunjiri, where President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has asked Ugandans to desist from lifestyles that could easily lead them into acquiring HIV/AIDS. Mr. Museveni preached against stigma and asked for behavioral change in fighting HIV/AIDS. This was during World AIDS Day celebrations in Rukunjiri district, where he lauded donors for supporting the response to HIV/AIDS in Uganda. Our reporter Henry Okrut was in Rukunjiri and filed this report.
It was music for hope, dance for awareness, and poetry for mindset change as Ugandans converged in the Western District of Rukunjiri to commemorate World AIDS Day. Speaker after speaker, both achievements and challenges were highlighted.
HIV/AIDS is still a significant concern for this country. It's still a public health concern. You led the fight by example. You summoned and prepared all your troops to tackle the fight against this enemy that was threatening the growth and progress of this country. We therefore celebrate your courage and heroism today.
We know that the longer young people stay in school and complete school, the less chances of registering teenage pregnancies and HIV infections and other sexual-related abuses.
We remain deeply committed to ending HIV everywhere by engaging and empowering communities and by ensuring that our programs, research, and policies are informed by the voices of the people most impacted by HIV.
Also highlighted were more interventions required in the quest to get rid of HIV/AIDS.
I'd like you to urge leaders at all levels to continue to giving out the HIV message, to urge parents to be good role models and continue to cater for and give information to their children.
The Director General Uganda AIDS Commission has also decried the low funding to HIV response. So I want to request them to continue supporting and the government of Uganda.
To share in these concerns was President Yoweri Museveni. He had arrived earlier at Rukunjiri Main Stadium to officiate at the event.
We no longer have AIDS of accident like we used to have in the past. Because in the past, you could get AIDS through blood transfusion. You could get AIDS through the mother to child. You could get AIDS through unsterilized syringes in the hospital. But all those were eliminated. All those were eliminated by the interventions we did over the time.
Museveni emphasized prevention as the main factor in the fight against HIV/AIDS.
The main source of AIDS now appears to be behavior related, where you do what you shouldn't do and then you get AIDS. So therefore, I really am determined to insist on this behavior change. And you, the church people, the mosque people, please bring this one out very clear, and the RDCs.
He also encouraged infected persons to embrace and maintain treatment.
If you get infected, then get tested, get treatment, and stick to the treatment.
Members of Parliament on the HIV/AIDS Committee agreed with the President.
To me, we really need to reflect about our tradition and the religious aspects.
We need to encourage them to abstain from sex because we have seen that they are the backbone of this country, they are the future leaders.
And those who are at school age going should keep in school because when they keep in school, concentrate and be determined, there is a reduced risk of being exposed to HIV/AIDS.
Vice President Major Jessica Alupo and a number of dignitaries attended the World AIDS Day commemoration under the theme, Ending Inequality Among Adolescent Girls, Young Women and Boys. Earlier, the chairperson of Rukunjiri District, area bishop and area MPs among others, gave a general view of Rukunjiri District. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Let's go to Gombe District now, where religious and political leaders in Gombe District have asked the government to consider turning the ancestral home of the late Philip Bongole Lutaaya into a tourist attraction. Philip Bongole Lutaaya was the first Uganda HIV/AIDS victim to speak out publicly about the virus and demystifying the analogy that it was not a virus but witchcraft. We have more in this story.
Well, I wanted to put something down. Something musical, artistic, about my feelings and about the feelings of what I thought were the feelings of other AIDS patients. The feeling of helplessness, the feeling of loneliness. I wanted to express what I felt within myself.
Despite the fact that the road from Kampala to Kony and beyond was tarmacked, the only 3-kilometer rural road that branches to Sasira village from Gombe district headquarters to the ancestral home of Lutaaya is in a poor condition that requires to be upgraded to a tarmac level. Which the people of Sasira village say will be a justification and reward to the efforts of the late Bongole Lutaaya in the fight against HIV/AIDS.
Let's come on out, let's come together, fight AIDS.
The dream falls timely when the country is joining the rest of the world to celebrate the International AIDS Day that often takes place on December 1st every year. However, political and religious leaders hold the view that the government should reconsider turning the ancestral home of the late Philip Bongole Lutaaya into a tourist attraction center.
Twasize wamu atwele ku luguudo oluvako koolasi okutuuka wano Philip Bongole luguudo lubi nnyo
aliko
yakendeeza obulwadde, yakendeeza ensaasaana y'akawuka. Era nange nga ssentebe w'ekyalo kino kubiriza abantu tugoberere omukululo gwa File Lutaaya tusobole okulwanyisa akawuka kano okulaba nga kaggwerawo ddala mu ggwanga.
Bandibadde bamukolera oba essomero oba ne bamubbulamu oluguudo oba essomero eriragira ddala File Bongole Lutaaya ye yali omuzira mu Uganda.
Natives here also plead that the road from Mpigi through Kony to Kabulasoke be named File Bongole Lutaaya Road and a state-of-the-art hospital be built in memory of Lutaaya's great work to speak boldly about the scourge.
Urugudo barwite File Bongole dene zimbe amarwari buri kimu cyone naye ngakijukizo ngakikora kinga kitegeza umusajja oyo yali wa amanyi.
Kubanga File Lutaaya yafuna ekirwadde n'atakikweka n'ayogera amazima nti bannange obulwadde gye buli era butta.
The late File Bongole Lutaaya was the first Ugandan to speak out that the HIV/AIDS was real, not witchcraft, as earlier perceived by local communities. Lutaaya sensitized communities about the virus. His testimonies helped in the fight against stigma and discrimination against people living with HIV/AIDS.
Impart that love, that knowledge into growing nation, that is young girls and younger children, so that they may not hear the songs of File on only Christmas days, but always.
At the time of his death in 1989, the late Lutaaya was 38 years of age. It's now 33 years ever since the demise of the late Lutaaya. However, as Uganda commemorates the International AIDS Day, the Bishop of Central Buganda Diocese, Michael Boa, says Lutaaya died of AIDS candidly, powerfully, and fearlessly breaking the barriers of stigma, discrimination, and fear about the scourge.
But we need to thank God for the life of File Lutaaya, who was brave enough to come out clearly to say that it's AIDS and AIDS kills. So we pray that those who are there within File Lutaaya's line continue to promote those young ones who are left and those who are now coming in, and also to warn the young ones, the youth, that AIDS kills.
The Central Buganda Anglican Bishop commended government for tarmacking the road from Kampala to Mpigi through Kony via Kabulasoke to Madu in Sembabule district. However, encouraged the central government to construct hospitals, schools, resource centers, and improve the lives of people living in Sasira village, the ancestral home of the late File Lutaaya.
So we need to call upon international organizations, the government, to come out with something viable, which can really show that this man was a brave man, because he was buried here near the headquarters of Central Buganda Diocese.
The representative of Buganda Kingdom in Gomba County, Kasibante Joseph Sentamo, said Lutaaya left twofold legacy and eulogized both as one of the founders of Uganda contemporary popular AIDS and Christmas songs.
I propose that it would be very viable if the government would make a memorial hospital or a resource center that addresses these sabotaging things that lure the youth into activities that can victimize them to contract AIDS. The land is there. That's an assurance. File Bongole Lutaaya is our hero.
Kasibante, however, promised Buganda Kingdom's commitment to work with the central government and stakeholders in the fight against AIDS to promote and recognize File Bongole Lutaaya for his tireless efforts to fight the scourge.
We praise him, and to keep people who are to come after our departure, to keep File Bongole Lutaaya's input in memory. We pray that the government invests in some money.
File Bongole Lutaaya was born on October 9th, 1951 and died on December 15, 1989, at the age of 38 years. Lutaaya was a son to the late Tito Chitimbo Lutaaya, born in 1900 and died in 1979.
Remembering Philly Bongole Lutaaya there. Now, the Archbishop of the Anglican Church, His Grace Dr. Stephen Samuel Kazimba Mugalu, has asked for the increase of the budget meant for treatment of HIV/AIDS patients. Kazimba Mugalu made their remarks during Buganda Mothers Union event marking this year's World AIDS Day.
Every first day of December, Uganda joins the rest of the world to commemorate AIDS Day. The Anglican Church has on this day participated in a number of activities that included marching towards the end of AIDS and donations. The Archbishop Church of Uganda, Dr. Kazimba Mugalu, has been hosted by members of Mothers Union from Buganda region, led by their chairperson Josephine Kasato. Kazimba expressed his concern about the continuity levels of stigma against people living with HIV/AIDS.
To them and pray for them. And I want to request that in the budget of Uganda, especially in the health sector, there should be something to support our people. Not only HIV/AIDS, but also cancer. We have even other issues.
About the continuity levels of stigma against people living with HIV/AIDS, Kazimba asked government to allocate enough budget towards the cause of ending HIV/AIDS, with more support to people living with HIV/AIDS.
There are those who are HIV positive who are not yet sick. They need our support. They need our prayers. We shouldn't be judgmental. We should stand with them, because some of them, many of them, are definitely innocent. They are innocent. They may not even tell what happened.
The chairperson Mothers Union in Buganda region, Josephine Kasato, elaborated about their campaign of Christian way of accompaniment for HIV patients, calling on Ugandans to always provide it to them.
So we are encouraging all people, all members, all, what can I say, everybody, to eliminate all sorts of stigma and discrimination, to promote all the safe practices like helping those who are adhering, accompanying them, like giving them things to use, food to eat, and all those necessary essentials they need.
Meanwhile, the Bishop of Northern Ankole, Right Reverend Amos Magezi, led the prayers and applauded government for bringing services closer to people affected with HIV/AIDS. Bishop Magezi urged to the religious leaders to join other stakeholders in the fight against HIV/AIDS.
Has not been silent about speaking against the HIV/AIDS. The message will come out. The church will speak. The government will speak. The statistics will be mentioned.
Although statistics show that women carry the big percentage of people living with HIV, many, on the other hand, face violence resulting from HIV.
Gender-based violence has caused HIV, but at the same time, HIV has caused gender-based violence. How do we respond to the two? The two are not right.
The solidarity prayer was held under the theme, United Activism to End Violence Against Women and Girls. I'm Ivan Juko and Susan Inabogude for UBC News.
To other news now, and the 23 candidates who previously missed their PLE Maths paper on the 8th of November this year have been given a special paper by UNEB. Frederick Mpunga, a UNEB supervisor who delivered a special maths paper on Wednesday to the 23 pupils of St. Catherine Primary School in Kakumiro district, says UNEB considered it as a special sympathy to candidates who missed because they were innocent.
Kakumiro District Inspector of Schools Mary Chofuna has thanked UNEB and the media for publicizing the information about the 23 pupils of St. Christian Primary School, Kakumiro, who had previously missed their primary leaving examinations.
Continue to fight for the rights of others who are weak enough to fight for themselves, because these candidates, if we had not published enough, maybe publicized enough, maybe we would not have got the real picture.
The RDC Kakumiro Major Retired David Matovo thanked UNEB, but says the director of St. Christine, Pascal Semvobo, is still on the hunt and should bring himself to police.
Very big mistake, and you are still a candidate for arresting. You are advised to surface because the file is still there for you, and you tell us what exactly went wrong so that we can draw lessons, but also further make a report to UNEB.
The 23 candidates thanked UNEB, media, the Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, for being sympathetic to them.
The work she did, and I thank the presenters of BBC television and the newspapers for the work they did.
The candidates were banned from sitting the examinations on 8th November 2022 after reaching late for the exam. However, after the intervention of Janet Museveni, the 23 children have been able to sit the primary leaving examinations.
MTN presents Tugende Muchika Day at Kampala Serena Hotel on Saturday, 3rd December 2022. Standard tickets go for 100k, gold 300k, and 3 million for platinum. Pay 90,000 shillings if you pay using MTN mobile money. Remember, this is only applicable to ordinary tickets. Featuring Eddie Away, Chance Nalubega, Sweet Kid, Kabuye Semboga, Akiki Romeo, Betty Pologoma, Ziggy D, Lady Mariam, Tina Tine, Abdumulasi, and featuring Wake Up Band. All this at Kampala Serena Hotel. For reservations, call 0785-961-910. Dress code Retro Style. Sponsored by Elderly Network Foundation, Coca-Cola, Al Breweries Limited, Kadanke, and MTN.
It's our mission to secure your money.
Protecting your money is as important as earning it. It is for this reason that the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda, DPF, was established by the government of Uganda to provide deposit protection to customers of regulated financial institutions. In the unlikely event that your commercial bank, credit institution, or microfinance deposit-taking institution fails, the DPF will pay you up to 10 million Uganda shillings. Keep your personal information such as national identification number, mobile phone, or an alternative bank account updated with your banker. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, contact DPF at Aha Towers, Plot 7 Lodell Road, Kampala. Call 0312-206-400 or visit our website at www.dpf.or.ug.
Paying for groceries the old way.
3, 4, yeah.
Allow me. Paying for groceries with the My Airtel app. You have the power in your pocket. The power to conveniently pay for goods and services. Unlock that power with the My Airtel app. Visit the App Store or Google Play now.
That's my wife.
Do you need data collection services, data analysis and reporting, monitoring and evaluation systems? Then contact Mold Technologies, a professional research firm that has provided many organizations with timely research solutions for over 15 years. For more information, visit www.mt.co.ug or call us on 0704-913-399 or 0782-602-963. Visit our office in Kampala at Sayuni Complex in Tinda. Mood Technologies, your professional research firm.
The Tales of Kasozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Yes, hello? This is Kasozi. How can I help you?
Calling you from the mobile service center.
Okay. So how can I help you?
Well, we have noticed a few things wrong with your number and need your mobile money PIN.
Tonfera, never give out your password or PIN to any caller. Your mobile service provider will never call or ask for your personal details. If in doubt, go to your nearest phone service center.
This message is powered by UCC, MTN, Airtel, Bank of Uganda, and NPSP Association.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Bara and Jinja.
MTN presents Tugende Muchika Day at Kampala Serena Hotel on Saturday, 3rd December 2022. Standard tickets go for 100k, gold 300k, and 3 million for platinum. Or pay 90,000 shillings if you pay using MTN mobile money. Remember, this is only applicable to ordinary tickets. Featuring Eddie Away, Chance Nalubega, Sweet Kid, Kawiye Semboga, Akiki Romeo, Betty Pologuma, Ziggy D, Lady Mariam, Tina Tine, Abdumulasi, and featuring Aveka Band. All this at Kampala Serena Hotel. For reservations call 0785 961 910. Dress code retro style. Sponsored by Elderly Network Foundation, Coca-Cola, Al Breweries Limited, Kadanke, and MTN.
Welcome to Friends Stadium. Everybody's ready. Wait a second, not everybody. Come on, dude, it's the FIFA World Cup. You're going to lose your seat, the ritual seat, the lucky one. Losing more than a seat, your team is going to lose. Where are you, dude? The match is about to start. Your friends won't hold on much longer. Excuse me. Finally, everything is in the right place. Hey, other hand. And you, do you have everything you need to believe?
Welcome back from that break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. Welcome to those of you just joining us. Now, Uganda People's Defense Forces participating in the joint Operation Shujaa with the Congolese forces have bombarded the Allied Democratic Forces rebels' stronghold of Mwalika under the command of Mulalo, capturing the wife of an ADF commander and a number of ammunitions. During the operation, young abducted girls and malnourished children were rescued and handed over to the DRC government at Kalembo Sector 3 Forward Base. Haruna Mtesa reports.
ADF camps were spotted by the UPDF intelligence utilizing the high sophisticated military technology. Multiple rocket launchers, bombings could be heard from the distance in Mwalika Forest in Benin territory. Under the command of Major General Dick Olum, UPDF targeted the base camp of the ADF commander Segu Jasudais, notoriously known as Molalo, operating in the areas of Kaluhamba, Kabaseu, in the Mwalika enclave along the hills of Isale.
Both the FRDC and the UPDF have been really pursuing these guys. So as I move around to check on these troops with my new deployment to this area, I'm still insisting to them the pressure should be on. It should even be more. I'm encouraging them more, fight more, move further, rescue as much as we can. And that's the message I'm trying to send to my troops. And thank God, they are very happy, very excellent when they saw me reaching that closest and deepest point of Mwalika Valley.
Operation Shujaa commander Major General Dick Olum said ADF commander Molalo escaped the bombardments, but his wife, Kavira Dokas, was captured and handed over to FRDC army for further interrogations. Two ADF collaborators, Wanuka Sereka Kiwere and Muhindo Kavite, were ambushed and captured by UPDF 15th Battalion Patrol Unit while they transported a consignment of bullets to the ADF while disguising as border riders.
This is a gesture to tell the world that the UPDF coming to eliminate ADF is not all about killing. It's also about trying to save the children, the women, the men who have gone to the bushes against their will and indoctrinated by the ADF.
ADF have been utilizing rough terrain, especially in Kaluhamba and Mwalika, to ambush, attack and abduct Congolese civilians. They kidnap anybody, gender notwithstanding. The Operation Suja is under the command of Major General Deki Olum, with vast experience on urban terrorism, street fights, and guerrilla warfare. His task in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo is to put the final nail on the coffin of the ADF rebel operations in Congo. Olum has been traversing UPDF sectors in the jungles of Eastern DRC. Olum said that the drive against the ADF network is an attempt to weigh the final blow to the militants in Eastern DRC.
There are 5 young kids whose parents died in the bush, but the UPDF and the FRDC picked them in the bush, and we brought them. We have kept them they were very malnourished, but today we are trying to present them to the Congolese military so that they take them to the NGOs so that they can be rehabilitated and probably work out a way of taking them back, repatriating them back to their mother countries.
In just 2 days, 12 young girls between the age of 15 to 17 years, a 42-year-old woman, were rescued in Sector 3 UPDF Forward Base alone. Haruna Mtesasira reporting for UBS News in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo.
Thanks, Haruna, for that story, and we'll remain in the DRC momentarily, where Uganda People's Defense Forces, the UPDF, will deploy its contingent of 1,000 troops as an intervention force to counter the M23 rebels, posing a security threat to the Kinshasa-based government in the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo. The UPDF will be joining 600 Kenya Defense Intervention Force already deployed in Goma to neutralize the M23 rebel operations if the rebel outfit fails to adhere to the ceasefire resolution arrived at in Nairobi early this week.
Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo has witnessed fierce fighting in the recent month between Congolese troops and M23 rebel group, a matter that the East African community has been watching closely with keen interest to deploy its East African Standby Brigade to stabilize the region under the clear framework that each member state to the East African community contributes an intervention force, save for Rwanda, that is accused by the DRC government of aiding and bankrolling the M23 rebels with human resource and military ammunition.
The advanced party has already entered Goma, where the force headquarters is going to be. We have, of course, a contribution to the force headquarters. Then the deployments in Bunia, I think we are waiting for logistics only, and we shall be there.
In a conclave of regional CDFs convening in the capital Nairobi, Uganda committed to deploy 1,000 troops under the regional standby intervention force framework to face off with the M23 rebels.
We approach you politically or diplomatically. If you don't respond, then we force you to disarm, and we have the capacity to do both.
Haruna Mtesasira, UBC.
Thanks, Haruna, for that report. Now, the International Criminal Court has set December the 15th to pass judgment in a case where Dominic Ongwen, a former commander of the Lord's Resistance Army, LRA, is appealing against a 25-year jail term. Ongwen was found guilty of committing atrocities in northern Uganda more than 20 years ago. Now, in February last year, Ongwen was found guilty of 61 offenses comprising of crimes against humanity and war crimes that he committed against civilians in the early 2000s. He was subsequently sentenced to 25 years imprisonment, but being dissatisfied, he appealed against both the conviction and sentence. In the appeal, the defense raised 90 grounds consisting of alleged legal, factual and procedural errors relating to the conviction and 11 grounds of appeal alleging legal, factual and procedural errors relating to the sentence. He had claimed to be a victim of Kony's war since he was also abducted by rebels while still a child on his way to school and forced into rebellion. Last week, the ICC chief prosecutor sought to revive the case against Joseph Kony, who remains at large since an arrest warrant was issued in 2005 on allegations of war crimes. Prosecutor Karim Khan said he had asked judges for authorization to hold a hearing to confirm the charges against Kony, the head of the notorious Lord's Resistance Army, in his absence. State Minister for Northern Uganda, Grace Freedom Kuyuchinyi, has urged members of parliament from Northern Uganda to sensitize their constituents on embracing government programs. She was speaking during the visit of members of parliament from Northern Uganda to the National Agricultural Research Organization in Namulonge, Wakiso district. We have more in this story.
The State Minister for Northern Uganda, Kuyuchinyi Grace Freedom, has commended the government for the establishment and the construction of infrastructure development in the region to improve the living standards of the people. This was during the tour of members of parliament from the Northern Uganda to the National Agricultural Research Organization.
Must be change agents. If they can work to change spiritually, they can also work to change socioeconomically. So we are using them already as change agents, and we are going to continue to support them with animals, with trainings, with any necessary support that is important as far as dairy farming is concerned.
Kuyuchinyi expressed the need for mindset change among Northern Uganda leaders to embrace modern livestock farming to realize benefits in dairy farming.
So our coming here is really to learn how we can manage dairy and transfer the knowledge to our local communities, how we can manage dairy. It has not been there. But we also learn from history that the very first dairy factory was in Acholi land by one Muzee called Adimola. He has since passed on. And that means that we have the potential of rearing dairy cows, producing milk, and also getting income. And as we are doing this, I had already indicated that we would like to chase poverty out of Northern Uganda. We know the value of dairy animals.
The Director General, National Agriculture Research Organization, Dr. Agona Ambrose, explained that the institution needs 23 billion to be able to research, formulate and develop livestock vaccines, especially for tick-borne disease.
Because we talk about very complicated kind of equipment, and then again we have to employ what they call the good manufacturing practice. Because you're not just producing for Uganda, but you're producing for the region and hopefully for the whole continent. So that's exactly what dreams are. But if we can be supported, I think we can do a lot. Because for us, we believe in using less to gain more.
The National Agricultural Research Organization has two zonal agricultural research institutes in Arua and Lira. Robert Katamba, UBC News.
Renowned pharmacologist and innovation award winner Professor Julius Nyanzi has tipped policymakers on the mode of poverty eradication among the youth. He was training over 200 participants on value addition at the 7th Great Sundowner here in Kampala.
Then spacing is 2 meters by 2 meters.
Uganda Bureau of Statistics figures show that youth comprise 75% of the total population. Yet the rate of unemployment among youth is 4.3%, putting a burden on the economy and policymakers. Government has programs for youth economic empowerment, but uptake is low due to lack of skills. But renowned Innovation Award winner Professor Julius Nyanzi of Prof Bio Research trains to make money from available resources like wood ash.
What I'm trying to put into Ugandans is to think outside the box. Most Ugandans don't see the opportunities around them. When you look at ash, that is a commodity which can be translated into money. But when you tell a Ugandan that ash has a financial value, they will not accept until when you show it to them practically. And that's what I'm doing at this Great Sundowner 7th edition.
He was training at the 7th Great Sundowner on innovation and value addition at Equatorial Mall in Kampala, where he warned that ash from a fireplace will soon be scarce.
We have a lot of resources here. For example, candle nut oil. If the whites are producing crude diesel or diesel, we can produce biodiesel, because we normally say Uganda gifted by nature.
He tips policymakers to plan for youth to utilize available resources than music, which is an economically unproductive service.
I've engaged many policymakers, but still I see one problem: goodwill. It's only Ugandans who are going to help Uganda, not foreigners. So I'm telling the policymakers, here I am, tested and proven. I've won awards locally and internationally. I've come up with breathtaking technologies. The first of its kind, coffee oil. I was the first producer of coffee oil in this country. And in Africa, I know, even the whites are not producing coffee oil.
The 7th grade sundowner has followers searching for solutions to youth and women empowerment.
I've been a big fan and follower of Professor Julius for some years now, so I always learn a lot. He's very unique, empowering people with agribusiness, with microbusiness.
The farmer from Kisowera Mpoma in Mukono district seeking skills to engage her own children at home.
Alitunso yankuteko nnyo kati nzirayo ewaffe yaliyo abasala ekibira kya kalitunso nendabira ddala ssente zigenda nga ziyaaya n'ebikola byonna byasigala awo yabavubuka ate nina kusookera ddala nakubayiwanga awaka.
The youth can find out what is it that grows well on that land. Now we have been talking about eucalyptus.
I have benefited from this training. I have seen a lot of money. If you put your brain, you can get money.
But I can get oil from the leaves of eucalyptus tree. I can get diesel oil.
But now I would love to go more into the production of these types of medicines as well.
Is anyone left behind, or we are moving together?
Professor Nyanzi trained over 200 in extracting oil from eucalyptus trees, making organic solutions for treating kidney disease from milk stetho and treating allergy with stinging nettle. He also extracts biodiesel from Kabaka Njagala seeds besides other products. Aviona Francisco, UBC News.
Local Economic Development Program under the Ministry of Local Government has been inaugurated. The Commissioner, Local Economic Development and Chairperson, Local Economic Development Propagation Team, Anthony Namara, said partnerships assist in generating the magnitude of resources needed in improving people's lives.
The local economic development policy was adopted as the 6th objective of decentralization in 2006. However, it lacked the aspect of financial decentralization in terms of local development. The policy was approved in 2014, and in 2019, the Department of Local Economic Development was created to drive this national agenda.
Part of the terms of reference of this committee will be to help local governments adopt their respective strategies aligned to the national strategy, but also disseminate it for purposes of understanding and adoption.
The inaugurated team is expected to support the Secretariat, identify good practices in some areas, work together to implement and document them, and also develop capacities for monitoring and evaluation and learning.
Development partners on board. Development partners are you're able to engage development partners to say this road has a very strong economic significance in terms of moving our goods from here to this big market, and the benefits are that the people who are producing will now have a market for their produce. So able to capture the good practices that are happening somewhere in one district and be able to bring it, share it with another district so that they learn that, okay, this is how these people did it, this is what they did in order to enhance success. So they are able to learn from that experience. So that is the
Members put emphasis on creating awareness, advocacy and publicity.
Thinking that we need to come up with a strategy of giving lead a clout at the national level. You see, like everybody is running around with PDM.
Members of the team have been drawn from different ministries and non-government organizations, and they are to serve on the propagation team. I'm Nafka Farida and Juman Samba in Kampala.
Now, according to the 2018 National Violence Against Children Survey, parents and relatives are the most perpetrators of physical violence against children. At least 7 in every 10 boys and 6 in every 10 girls in Uganda have reportedly experienced physical violence in their childhood. Now, this has made the Hands for Good campaign timely, relevant and crucial in helping out sensitize the public about the vice. Take a watch.
Long-term studies indicate that while physical violence against children is widespread in Uganda, the majority occurs in the context of disciplining the children. Adults most commonly administer humiliating punishment to obtain children's compliance with their directives and educate them about acceptable and unacceptable behaviors.
So we could see that over the last 9 months, we implemented Hands for Good campaign. Justice already mentioned that the campaign had wide reach. 2.5 million people were reached with awareness-raising messages.
The campaign at the moment, at least through the community activities, has interfaced with 9,000 families, 9,000 children and their parents.
And I got to learn that our community does not only have good people but also bad people. For examples, we have drug addicts, we have kidnappers, we have also bad wishers. And I got to understand that what my parents were doing was for my good and not for my bad.
Experts from the Hand for Good social behavioral change campaign, by joining forces, report that social effects of child physical abuse continue to negatively influence the adult life of the abused child. Evidence indicates that physical violence has increased the odds of mental health, and violence may be an important but overlooked contributor to the disease burden in the country.
The campaign has been to work with parents, children and caregivers to change their norms, cultural norms and beliefs that promote physical violence, but also to promote reporting of the vice.
We would like all children in Uganda to enjoy such a loving and supportive relationship with their parents with no violence. Therefore, we call for the government of Uganda to enhance budgeting and also implementation of child protection mechanisms.
With your hands, inspire, empower.
The campaign urged all parents and caregivers to use their hands to nurture, support and guide children instead of using them for violence and inflicting pain.
So we have been discussing gender and hoping that these roles that have been prescribed to us by our cultures, our religions, can be demobilized and we create good norms and cultures.
We would also like to request the members of parliament to make corporal punishment unlawful in Ugandan homes.
Sandra Kahunde, UBC News.
Parents under the spotlight there for being abusive to their children, especially when it comes to physical pain. Now, MTN Uganda has launched a healthcare partnership that's aimed at boosting healthcare financial services in the country. The MTN Pesa partnership will help customers to save for healthcare. The Deputy Governor Bank of Uganda, who was represented by Mr. Byarugaba Richard, says the service will improve access to healthcare and promote the culture of saving.
I wish to commend the two institutions for developing a product which aligns well with the Bank of Uganda revised mission, which is focused on promoting price stability and a sound financial system in support of socio-economic transformation in Uganda.
Healthcare insurance penetration, of course, being very low, standing at 0.7%. Today we take a bold step together with MTN to ensure that the MTN customers across the country and many more others that would want to enjoy the Clinic Pesa services can be able to start preparing to set aside funds as a mode of saving for healthcare and use this to offset their medical bill. And if the event you do not have enough, then we are able to come through for you by extending a medical loan top-up, which you use to clear your medical bill.
Health financing, as has been articulated by Master of Ceremony, is still a big challenge to many people in Uganda. especially because sickness comes in unannounced, yet it is inevitable, often leaving people distressed after footing hefty medical bills that are unplanned. At MTN, we believe, and this is our purpose for being, that everyone deserves the benefits of a modern connected life. And in many ways, good health backed by affordable health services is a crucial enabler of harnessing the benefits of this modern connected life for all.
I'd also like to commend the Board of Directors in Kony for bringing the innovations in this space of the Tier 4 sector, and once again commending MTN Uganda for partnering with different Tier 4 sector institutions in this innovation of the digital financial products.
To Tororo district now, where women activists in Tororo want perpetrators of violence against women and girls punished. This as 31% of the women in the district are battered on a daily basis, with 5 of these reportedly losing their lives.
This girl is a resident of Baragangi village in Merekit sub-county, Tororo district. She was early this year gang raped by boys within her village, made pregnant, giving birth to this 9-month-old baby. On the fateful day, the 13-year-old girl was on her way back home from a trading center where she had been sent to buy soap by her parents. Another girl, who is now making 15 years, had a similar fate after she was attacked from her parents' compound when she had got out of their house to ease herself. Much as she survived rape, her body did not survive beatings to the extent of her becoming unconscious.
When I realized they touched me, they were trying to rape me. Now I made an alarm, screaming. Going to realize, I thought maybe they had hit me with a stick. It was a panga.
The 2 girls are among the many in the district who are currently suffering as a result of gender-based violence.
It is so rampant that of late, like if you look at from October to November, as if 13 cases are reported and a month has 30 days, then that means we are dividing this month in the middle, that every day a rape and a defilement case is reported.
With 31% of women population in the district reportedly assaulted on a daily basis, the human rights activists have organized a dialogue with the district leaders to address the vice.
We realized the rates of violence in Tororo were high, and we decided to come up with a dialogue where we have brought different stakeholders, the women, the leaders, to see how we can come up with actions to reduce the high levels of violence in the district. And as we were dialoguing, we got testimonies from survivors that were emotional, and of course they moved most of us.
With at least 5 lives believed to have been lost within this year alone, leaders blame the escalation of the vice to poor handling of gender-based violence cases by police.
The customer care at police is their concern here, and that pushes them away. They say they are asked for some small monies which they cannot afford in relation to the injuries and the pains they are going through. So they shy away and walk away and go and die and seek hope elsewhere.
But to the security personnel, the population is to blame, since most parents prefer accepting money than minding the fate of their children.
The relatives of the suspects, the perpetrators of this victim, because they know the grievous nature of these offenses, they quickly mobilize money and compromise the witnesses, so the witnesses lose interest in the case. But otherwise, by large, I think there is some slight improvement in the cases of gender-based violence.
This is as the district joins the rest of the world to mark the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence under the theme, Unite.
Sports news now as we end this bulletin. The president of the International Boxing Association, IBA, Umar Kremlev, is in Uganda for a one-day visit under the hospitality of the Uganda Boxing Federation President Moses Muhangi. A very significant highlight of Kremlev's visit to Uganda is the launch of the construction of a boxing academy in Uganda. We have more in this story.
Uganda Boxing Federation is soon getting a permanent home, and lining up for the only indoor stadium in Lugogo will be no more. A special visit of the International Boxing Association President Umar Kremlev, who promised $5 million to the federation to construct a state-of-the-art boxing arena in Matuga, comes in handy. Kremlev arrived Thursday morning and toured the boxing land provided by the Buganda Kingdom for the arena.
И уникальные дети по всему миру прославляют бокс «Дети Африки».
I would like to say that Africa is a unique continent, and especially Uganda is a unique country, and African children, they glorify boxing all over the world.
With such initiatives, one would testify seeing more long-range lead hooks out from the heart of Africa. Uganda once ranked among the top 5 boxing nations of the world, but however, boxers from the country can now play second fiddle to those from powerhouses such as Ghana and Mozambique. The Uganda Boxing Federation and the Switzerland-based International Boxing Association signed a deal for Uganda to receive not only $5 million, but equally pull out talented boxers from Uganda and prepare them for more significant events. The international president highlighted that such upcoming boxing academy in Uganda, with its infrastructure matching international standards, would change the boxing status.
And that story brings us to the end of news tonight, this Thursday, the first day of December 2022. Thank you so much for having kept us company. On sign language, it has been Mogalu Mohammed, and I am Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma, wishing you a blessed night. But remember, we shall be having World Cup action coming your way at 10 p.m. So do stick it around.